What's going on, everybody? Welcome to 4th and 25 with J Ram. Damn, I just come on. I already got a love. Appreciate that. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Let's make sure our audio is good. I hope my ear things ain't dead. Because if they are, that's not going to be fun. All right, here we go. All right, welcome in, guys. We got a loaded show today. I honestly can't remember the last time I was on. It's been a little while. Appreciate the loves. I got two of them. All right, guys. So we got a lot to get into. Let's get started. We're going to start with recaps. There's been a lot of bowl games. We've, of course, the playoff first round is in the books. Quarterfinals are coming up this week. Big time matchups. So let's get rolling. So that's the wrong one. I'm an idiot. All right, let me find it. We'll start with what happened. We're going to go all the way back to Orlando. Let me find it. Was this it? Nope, that's not it. I'm sorry. There we go. All right, so let's go back to the Cure Bowl. Old Dominion beat South Florida 24-10. Both the quarterbacks are out of this game. They both are in the transfer portal. But still not a bad game. Quinn Hennicle, who played QB for Old DU in this game, goes for 127 through the air, 107 rushing and a couple of touchdowns. Jeremy Jack Jr., linebacker for Old DU, he had a hell of a game. 11 total tackles, 10 solos, a sack, 1.5 tackles for loss. Old Dominion got 4 sacks on defense, 8 tackles for loss, forced 5 South Florida turnovers, and outrushed South Florida 255-52. So ODU got the running game going and played really good defense in this football game. Congratulations to Old Dominion. They are the champions of the Cure Bowl. All right. Congratulations to Delaware's. They won the 68 Ventures Bowl that same night down in Mobile. Delaware 20-13 over UL Lafayette. The Hens in their first FBS Bowl game, and they win it. Congrats to them. Their quarterback, Nick Menakushi, goes for 176 and a touchdown. Running back Joe Silver goes for 116 on the ground, 8.3 a carry, scored a touchdown. He had a solid ball game. Nate Evans, a DB for the Hens, he had 5 tackles, 4 solos, an interception, and a tackle for loss. It was actually one of 3 UL Lafayette turnovers that the Blue Hens forced, so Lafayette kind of shot themselves in the foot with 3 turnovers in this game that ended up hurting them. Delaware 158-104 in the rushing yards also. So shout out to Delaware. Both these games were this past Wednesday, by the way. So shout out to Delaware, champions of the 68 Ventures Bowl. All right. Next up, let's go to what happened this past Thursday night in Texas. The first ever Xbox Bowl. I still laugh at that name, but I think this bowl was actually the Bahamas Bowl, but they moved it because of the stadium renovations going on in Nassau. Arkansas State 34-28 over Missouri State. I watched this game from my cabin in the Smoky Mountains on my honeymoon. This was actually a good game. Jalen Renor for Arkansas State goes for 288 and 3 touchdowns. He has a great game. Corey Rucker, 6 catches for 166. He had a touchdown for the Red Wolves. Their DT, Cody Sigler, 6 total tackles, 4 solos, 1.5 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss, pass deflection. Missouri State turned the ball over twice, which hurt them. A lot of penalties in this game. This was a sloppy football game. 24 combined penalties. That is wild. But Arkansas State hangs on to get the win, 34-28. They are the champions of the Xbox Bowl. All right, let's move to Myrtle Beach the next day on Friday, this past Friday. This game was actually highly anticipated. I thought this would be a good game. This was actually a beating of epic proportions. Western Michigan 41-6 over Kennesaw State. They are the champions of the Myrtle Beach Bowl. The Broncos destroyed the Owls. Jalen Buckley goes for 174 and a touchdown. He had 21.8 yards a carry. He had so many big runs in this football game. James Camden at linebacker, 10 total tackles, 4 solos. He had a sack and a tackle for loss. Rodney McGraw, defensive lineman for Western Michigan, had a great game too. 5 total tackles, 2 solos, 2.5 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss, pass deflection. Western Michigan's defense was really good in this game. 5 sacks, 4 turnovers forced, including a pick 6. Kennesaw State was only 4-14 on 3rd down against them. Western Michigan outgained them 423-378. and they outrushed them 303 to 169. So this game was a beating, but Western Michigan wins at 41-6. All right, moving to the Gasparilla Bowl. This was also a butt kicking. NC State 31, Memphis 7. The Wolfpack quarterback C.J. Bailey goes for 221 and 2 scores. Jaden Scott runs for 108, and their linebacker Caden Fordham, one of the best linebackers in the country that you probably haven't heard about, had 13 total tackles, 5 solos, 1.5 tackles for loss, and he had an interception. Memphis turned the ball over twice. NC State outgained them 337 to 303. But NC State gets the ACC a bowl win here, 31-7. They're the champions of the Gasparilla Bowl. All right. Before we move on, take a swig of some. I'm gonna give them a free pop. Zevia, cola flavored. It's a good drink. All right. Let's talk about what happened on this past Friday too in Norman, Oklahoma. First round of the playoff. This was the 9 seed at the 8 seed. Congrats to Alabama. They beat Oklahoma 34-24. This game was 17-0 Oklahoma at one point. I thought Alabama was in big trouble, and I think a lot of us did. And boy, was we wrong. We were wrong. They erased a 17-0 deflect. Alabama goes 3 of 3 in the red zone. Oklahoma 2 missed field goals. And remember, they had the best kicker in the country, Tate Sandell, the Lou Groza Award winner. And he missed his 2 field goals. Holy cow. They also threw a pick 6. They only had 55 yards rushing. Shout out to Bama's run defense. Ty Simpson gets it done with 232 and 2 touchdowns. Lazier Brooks had a touchdown catch. Alabama linebackers Deontay Lawson and Justin Jefferson had a great game here for the Tide. Lawson 10 total tackles, 6 solos, a sack, tackle for loss, pass deflection. Jefferson had 9 total tackles, 7 solos, a sack, and 2 tackles for loss. And Alabama gets it done 34-24. The Tide move on. They will play Indiana Thursday in the Rose Bowl in the quarterfinals. We'll pick that game in a little while. All right. I don't think any of us saw this one coming either. Miami 10, Texas A&M 3 in the first round this past Saturday. I watched this game in disbelief. It was this low scoring, but I did not realize the wind was as bad as it was. Apparently, the wind was really rough at this game. Miami gets it done 10-3. Mark Fletcher Jr. goes for 172 on the ground for the Canes. Bruce Fitzgerald gets 2 interceptions for the Canes defense. Keontae Scott had 10 total tackles, 5 solo. He had 2 sacks, 3 tackles for loss. Miami's defense was incredible in this football game. Reuben Bain Jr. had 5 tackles, 4 solos, 3 sacks. So that's 5 sacks amongst 2 players right there. Miami's defense had 7 sacks total, forced 3 A&M turnovers, and held the Aggies to 89 yards rushing. So the star of this game was the Miami defense by far. So shout out to Miami's defense. They were the epicenter here. Miami gets it done 10-3. They move on to the quarterfinals. They'll play Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl on Wednesday night. All right, moving on. More first round thoughts. Ole Miss annihilates Tulane 41-10 as the Rebels in their first game without Lane Kiffin. Trinidad Chambliss goes for 282 and a touchdown, runs for 2 touchdowns. Keywan Lacey 87 yards on the ground and a touchdown. Deshaun Stribling has 79 yards through the air with a touchdown catch. Tulane turns the ball over 3 times. Ole Miss puts up 497 in total yards. Tulane still got 421, but was still a beatdown. Ole Miss outdone them in first downs 29-20, and the Rebels get it done 41-10. They move on to play Georgia Thursday night on New Year's night in New Orleans at the All-State Sugar Bowl. And then our final first round game, another don't let the score fool you, but Oregon beats JMU 51-34. Dante Moore throws for 313 and 4 scores. Malik Benson 119 catching and 2 scores. This game was 34-6 at halftime. Now James Madison did outscore 28-17 in the second half, but by this time Oregon had kind of called off the dogs, so this score looks a little closer than it was. Total yards 514 to 509. Oregon did not play great in the second half, but like I say, I think this game was kind of called off at halftime, and then it was kind of a cruise. But Oregon gets it done 51-34. Oregon moves on to play Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl. All right. So that's a recap of the first round of the playoff. Now let's keep going with these bowl games. This past Monday in the Potato Bowl, Washington State beat Utah State 34-21. Washington State quarterback Zova Ekis goes for 334, 3 touchdown passes. He did throw 3 interceptions, but it did not, of course, cost his team. Maxwell Woods, Washington State's running back, goes for 117. Wazoo actually outgained Utah State 628-254. That is crazy. 628 yards of offense, and they only won the game by 13 points. But when you turn the ball over 3 times, what do you expect? Utah State turned it over twice. Wazoo, that 628 included 373 passing. They run for 255. They outrushed Utah State 255-60. These two, of course, will be Pac-12 foes starting next season as Utah State joins the reborn Pac-12. But Washington State gets it done 34-21. That was this past Monday. All right. Oh, sorry, guys. All right. So, moving on to this past Tuesday at the Boca Raton Bowl, Louisville beat Toledo 27-22. This was actually a solid game. Had some ugly fighting at the end of it, but Miller Moss of Louisville throws for 153 and 2 scores. Isaac Brown goes for 102 on the ground with 2 scores. DB JoJo Evans Jr., 8 total tackles, 5 solos, a sack, tackle for loss, and a fumble recovery. D lineman Cliff Lubin, 7 total tackles, 4 solos, 1.5 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. Louisville's defense got 4 sacks. And then the penalties. Toledo, 14 penalties. Louisville only 6. You can't win football games when you got 14 penalties. So penalties really hurt Toledo in this game, but it was a good game. Louisville gets it done, 27-22. All right, down to New Orleans for the New Orleans Bowl. Western Kentucky 27, Southern Miss 16. This game actually Southern Miss was in control, but Western Kentucky made a run in the second half. Quarterback Maverick McIver goes for 199. He throws for 48. Runs for 48 and scores a touchdown. Matthew Henry, their talented receiver, 7 catches for 126. Jalen Lester at linebacker, he had 12 total tackles, 7 solos, a sack, 2 tackles for loss, and a pass deflection. And then also Anthony Breckenridge at linebacker, 11 total tackles, 6 solos, a sack, tackle for loss. Third downs. Southern Miss was 7 out of 20. Western Kentucky was 9 of 17. Total offense 422-377. Hilltoppers. Southern Miss had 12 penalties. Western Kentucky had 8. But Southern Miss at one time led this game, I think, by double digits. But the Hilltoppers stormed back. And Western Kentucky is the champions of the New Orleans Bowl, 27-16. All right, Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl. Ohio 17, UNLV 10. That name is so funny to me as far as the bowl names. But Ohio gets it done 17-10. Running back Cy Bangura goes for 149 and a score, averaged almost 8 yards a carry. Chase Hendricks had 4 catches for 87. Their safety DJ Walker, 6 tackles, 4 solos. He had a big interception and a tackle for loss. Ohio won the rushing game 207-97 and total offense 350-281. And the Bobcats hung on to get it done 17-10 over UNLV. All right, so they win the Frisco Bowl. Now, and what's been one of the better bowl games of the bowl season, Christmas Eve, Hawaii Bowl. Hawaii 35, Cal 31. This was a great game on Christmas Eve. Cal, of course, led this thing 21-0, but Hawaii, of course, storms back to win it. Congrats to the Warriors. Michael Aljonda goes for 274, 3 touchdowns. Hofel Ashlock, 14 catches for 123, 2 touchdowns, as he leads as Hawaii gets it done 35-31. The Warriors are champions of the Hawaii Bowl. All right. So, before we continue with the bowl games, let's do Let's talk about this D2 National Championship game that happened this past December 13th. Shout out to Ferris State as they defeat Harding 42-21. The Ferris State quarterback, Wyatt Bauer, throws for 177, 2 touchdowns, 3 rushing touchdowns, 38 yards. He ends up with 215 yards of offense, 5 total touchdowns. Jalen Jones, their D lineman, 3 tackles. He had 2 sacks. Ferris State outgained Harding 585-486, so there was a lot of yards in the game. But Ferris State gets it done. This is their 4th national championship in 5 seasons. The Ferris State Bulldogs are 2025 D2 NCAA D2 football national champions. All right, let's see. Let me find D3 real quick. I got my notes a little bit out of whack here, so let's do, yeah, okay. All right, D3. Semifinals were on the 20th of December. North Carolina Central 41-27 over John Carroll. Wisconsin River Falls won a 48-41 shootout over John Hopkins. So that game is official Sunday, January 4th. It will be Wisconsin River Falls and North Central for the D3 National Championship this Sunday night. Cannot wait to see that game. Can North Central get them another title, or will Wisconsin River Falls get them a national championship? But that is your D3 National Championship game on Sunday, January 4th. This should be fun. My money's on North Central, of course. They're one of the premier D3 programs. All right, moving on. Let's look at FCS real quick. We had the semifinals on December 20th. Montana State and Montana, the rematch of the Brawl of the Wild. This one went to the Bobcats, 48-23. So not really shocking in my opinion. But Justin Lamson goes for 209 and 2 scores. Adam Jones runs for 131 and 2 scores. Taco Dowler 125 and a touchdown receiving. Montana State outgained them 449-347. Rushed them 240-96. So the Bobcats get it done. They head to the title game in Nashville. And then also, you see it, the Cinderella story of the FCS playoffs continues. Illinois State 30, Villanova 14. The Redbirds continue this miracle run. They beat North Dakota State. They beat Villanova. So the Redbirds are headed to the FCS National Championship, where they will face the Montana State Bobcats. There you go. That game is, of course, a week from tonight, Monday, January 5th, in Nashville, Tennessee, at Vanderbilt Stadium. That is your FCS National Championship. Going to be fun. All right, so that's a recap of the lower divisions. All right, let's go back to the bowl games. We'll start with, let's get into the post-Christmas bowl games. We'll start with what happened. There it is. Northwestern 34, Central Michigan 7. This was the game above Sports Bowl in Detroit, Michigan. Preston Stone throws for 226 and 3 touchdowns. Receiver Griffin Waddle, 2 touchdown catches. Aiden Hubbard, 3 sacks for the Cats defense. Total yards 313-269. But here's the stat. Northwestern's defense took control of this game. 5 sacks by their defense, 4 turnovers by the Chippewas offense. And Northwestern cruises 34-7. They're the champions of the game above Sports Bowl. All right, let's go to the Rate Bowl. This was fun. This was actually a solid game. Minnesota 20, New Mexico 17. This game went to overtime. But again, a PJ Fleck football team getting it done in a bowl game. Their quarterback, Drake Lindsey, throws 2 scores. Darius Taylor goes for 116 in a score. Jalen Smith, 2 touchdown catches. Linebacker Maverick Barnikowski. Listen to these stats. This young man had 17 total tackles, 13 solos, a sack, tackle for loss. He was a tackling machine for the Gophers. And Anthony Smith on the D-line, he had 2 sacks for him too. Minnesota total 4 sacks by their defense, and they outpassed New Mexico 147-88. So Minnesota beats the feel-good story of New Mexico 20-17 in overtime. They are the champions of the Rate Bowl. All right, and our final bowl game on the day after Christmas, UTSA 57, FIU 20. Hang on here. I had to take me a sip. Sorry about that. UTSA 57-20 over FIU in the First Responder Bowl. Owen McCount throws for 295 and 3 scores. Will Henderson, the third at running back, he gets 2 touchdowns. Chad Banks Jr., the talented linebacker, 8 total tackles, 4 solo, a sack, and a tackle for loss. They outgained FIU 481 to 255. Outrushed them 186 to 79. Outpassed them 295 to 176. Roadrunners defense gets 3 sacks and 2 turnovers forced. Congratulations to UTSA as they get another bowl win. All right, so I'll thin these out just a little bit. All right, so let's go to this past Saturday, starting with the Military Bowl. East Carolina 23, Pitt 17. This was a solid game, not a bad game. East Carolina's quarterback, he's in the transfer portal. So Chasten Dita takes over, throws for 177, 2 touchdowns. Anthony Smith at receiver had 2 touchdown catches, 156 yards. East Carolina's defense, 4 sacks, and forced 5 Pitt turnovers. Pitt seems to turn the ball over a lot there half the time. But they turned the ball over 5 times. East Carolina gets 4 sacks. Pitt led in all categories except the one that matters, the scoreboard. But East Carolina wins it 23-17. They're the champions of the Military Bowl. Now the Pinstripe Bowl, or if you want to go by its real name, the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. Battle of usually brands, and some people picked this to be the national championship game back in August. Yours truly was guilty of it. But anyway, Penn State 22, Clemson 10. Penn State quarterback Ethan Grukemeyer, 262, 2 scores. He had a good game. Their running back Quentin Morton Jr. got 100 yards. Trevor Penna, 100 yards receiving, a touchdown. Shout out to their kicker Ryan Barker. He did well in these elements. 3 of 3 on field goals, long of 48. It was cold and snowy there. I wish I could have been at this game. It looks like it was fun. Penn State's defense had 4 sacks. They outgained them 397 to 236. Outrushed them 135 to 43. On third downs, Penn State was 11 of 19. Clemson only 5 of 50. But congrats to Penn State. They get it done. 22 to 10. All right, so let's move on. We're almost caught up on these games. Let's go to the Fenway Bowl. Did not see this coming. Army 41, Yukon 16. I thought this game would be a hell of a lot closer. I know UConn's coach obviously left, and I think their receiver Skylar Bell started the game, but I think he stopped at halftime. But Army gets it done, 41 to 16 over UConn in the Fenway Bowl. God's power and the Queek at running back, 171, 2 scores, 14.3 yards a carry. Receiver Noah Short had 7 catches for 108 and a touchdown. Yes, Army had a 100-yard receiver. You heard that right. Third downs, Army was 8 of 11. UConn 1 of 9. Wow. So if you're 1 of 9 on third down, you usually don't win. Army outgained them 476 to 267. Of course, they outrushed them 368 to 183. Time of possession, Army had the ball for 36 minutes, 15 seconds. UConn for 23 minutes and 45 seconds. All right, so Army finishes right above 500. Congrats on the bowl win. All right, one of the funnest bowl games every year. Even if the game's a blowout, the atmosphere is awesome. The marketing team does a great job with this bowl. But hey, it was a close game again. BYU 25, Georgia Tech 21. They win the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I love this bowl. This bowl is so much fun. BYU gets it done. Their quarterback, Barry Boschmeyer, throws for 325 and a touchdown. Carson Ryan, 8 catches for 120. Third downs, Georgia Tech was 4 of 12. BYU 5 of 10. Outpassed them 325 to 270. Georgia Tech with 7 penalties. BYU only 4 penalties. This game was fun, though. BYU gets it done 25-21. And, of course, if you watch the post game, 2 Pop-Tarts were sacrificed and eaten by BYU. But congrats to BYU. All right. The Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, Fresno State 18, Miami, Ohio 3. I wonder how many people even knew this game was on because it was on the CW. But Fresno quarterback E.J. Warner goes for 219 and a score. Josiah Freeman had 143 yards receiving. Fresno State's defense, 3 sacks, 2 turnovers forced. Fresno destroyed Miami, Ohio in the total yards game, 396 to 192. And then outpassed them 219 to 72. Miami, Ohio's been struggling on offense for a while, but they get it done, and Fresno State gets the win, 18-3. All right, the highest scoring bowl game of bowl season so far. North Texas 49, San Diego State 47. This New Mexico Bowl was on drugs. There was so much scoring. I didn't think San Diego State could score this much, but I also went into this game very hesitant because obviously Eric Morse left North Texas. He went to Oklahoma State. I wondered if there was going to be opt-outs, people hitting the portal. I didn't know what was going to happen with this game for North Texas. I was wrong. Quarterback Drew Mestemaker throws for 253 scores. The two-headed monster running back of Caleb Hawkins and Ashton Gray, they went off. Hawkins 198, 2 touchdowns. That freshman has been sensational for the Mean Green. And Gray goes for 152 and 2 scores himself. On the defensive side, Will Jones II, their safety, 14 total tackles, 7 solos, a pick, tackle for loss. Also, Evan Jackson, 5 total, 3 solo. He had a sack and a pick. North Texas had 618 yards of offense in this game. San Diego State had 532. These two teams combined for 1,150 yards of offense, 96 points. Unbelievable. Fun game. North Texas by itself, 368 yards rushing. Great game, great game, and congrats to North Texas, a 12-win season. It'd be a crying shame if they don't finish in the top 25. They earned it. Congrats to the Mean Green. All right, let's go down to Jacksonville to the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. This was not high scoring. Virginia 13, Missouri 7. Congratulations to Tony Elliott's crew. First 11-win season in program history for Virginia. Chandler Morse, their quarterback, goes for 198. Devin Neal at safety and Landon Danley at safety. They had a combined 21 tackles together. Third downs, Missouri was bad, 3 of 12. Virginia 13 of 23. They outgained them 308 to 260. Fourth down conversions, Virginia 2 of 4. Missouri 0 for 3 on fourth downs. Questionable play calling in this game obviously was a talking point. Missouri had the best running back in the country, and Ahmad Hardy, not named Jeremiah Love, I put him number 2, but they had the best running back in the SEC, and they hardly used the kid. And he's already said he's coming back. So is there some dissension there? If I was Ahmad Hardy, I wouldn't be happy because he was not very well used in this bowl game. But it is what it is. Virginia gets the win, 13-7. They're Gator Bowl champs. And our final bowl game to get caught up, the Texas Bowl. This was actually a solid football game. Houston 38, LSU 35 at the Kinder's Texas Bowl in Houston. Pretty much as it says, a de facto home game for Houston. Connor Wigman 236, 4 touchdown passes, runs for 56 yards. Drew Connors 126 yards on the ground and a score for the Cougars. Eddie Walls, the third on their D-line, had 6 total tackles, 3 solos, 1.5 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss. LSU had 9 penalties. Houston only 4. Houston outgained LSU 437 to 344. Outrushed them 201 to 77. Yes, LSU had opt-outs. They were depleted, but I'm not making excuses for them. They were still in this football game. It was a very competitive game. But congratulations to Willie Fritz, the Houston Cougars, and the Big 12. They needed this. This is a big one for them. Houston 38, LSU 35. All right, so with that, we are up to date on the Bulls in the postseason so far. We're going to take a break here in a second, but before we do that, so here's an update of what the playoff bracket looks like. We already just recapped the first round. There's your quarterfinals. We've got Miami and Ohio State coming up Wednesday night at the Cotton Bowl, and then the New Year's Day triple-header. You've got Oregon and Texas Tech. That's the Orange Bowl. You got Alabama, Indiana. That's the Rose Bowl, and Ole Miss, Georgia at the Sugar Bowl. All right, so let's take a quick break, and we come back. We're going to talk about some more head coaching changes, and of course, as you know, Michigan has their guy. We'll see y'all in a minute. All Alright guys, welcome back to 4th and 25 with Jay. I hope you're still having a great day. And I can't believe I ain't said this. I hope you've all had a wonderful holiday season. Hope you've had a Merry Christmas. Spend time with your family. Hope it's been wonderful. Alright, so let's talk about, since we're up to date on the postseason, let's talk about these head coaching changes. Looks like every head coaching vacancy is filled for now. Missouri State got their guy, Casey Woods. He's the new head coach at Missouri State. He comes over from SMU, where he was the offensive coordinator. He's the offensive mind, of course. He's worked at Missouri. He's also worked at UAB, Arkansas State, Auburn, and he was a grad assistant at Tennessee, too. So Casey Woods, a new head coach at Missouri State, getting his taste of FBS head coaching. Congrats to that young man, to that fellow. All right, we got a promotion. Ohio. John Hauser has been promoted. He is officially the permanent new head coach of the Ohio Bobcats. He coached this team the other night, of course, in the Frisco Bowl when they beat UNLV. He's been at Ohio since 2022. He's also worked at Miami, Ohio. He's been a defensive coordinator. He's been DB's coach. He's worked at the Citadel, Wayne State, also Northern Illinois, and of course at D2 Wittenberg College. But that is your new head coach. Congratulations, Ohio. All right, before we get to the big one, obviously there was another effect here. Utah, Morgan Scaldi is the new head coach of the Utah Utes. He is promoted. He was the DC and the safeties coach. He's been at Utah a long time. He's been a head coach in waiting there. And you might say, okay, well, where's Kyle Whittingham? That's where Kyle Whittingham is. He is your new head coach at the University of Michigan. I absolutely love this hire. He was 177 and 88 at Utah. He was 109 and 70 in conference games, Mountain West, Pac-12, and the Big 12. 11 and 6 record in bowl games. He won 3 conference championships at Utah, 1 in the Mountain West, 2 in the Pac-12, also 4 Pac-12 South titles. Helped transition Utah from the Mountain West to the Power 4 level, and they did a great job up there in the Pac-12 and done well in the Big 12. Well, now, he obviously, some say he was forced out of Utah. I don't know. I can't speculate. I can't confirm that. Who knows? But he's out at Utah, but he is the new head man of Michigan, Kyle Whittingham. I did not see this coming. Did not think of his name at all for this job. But super excited for Michigan. I think this is an excellent hire. Is it a short term? More than likely. He's 66 years old. It's a 5-year deal. But the guy is a proven winner. He has a great cultural history. I think he fits Michigan really well. So congrats to Michigan. I think this is the best head coaching hire of the coaching carousel, just my opinion. But Michigan hires Kyle Whittingham. All right. So that is an update on head coaching changes. So as of now, that is all the head coaching jobs filled. Side note, North Carolina has hired Bobby Petrino as their offensive coordinator. Holy cow. Did not see that coming. Did not see that coming. That was a very surprising one. All right, so we're going to take another quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk about players who are returning. And the transfer portal has already exploded, and it doesn't even open until Friday. That's how crazy it is. But we'll be back here in just a minute.
To hate, Andrew Anderson, stating truth that just can't wait. Got a podcast like a punch right to your face. College sports villain, taking it over the place. I bring the facts whether you like it or not. Dropping truth bombs, giving it all I got. They call me a villain. Well, I wear that badge with pride. Nothing but secrets they try to hide. Hard rock in my veins, rebellious to the core. I won't back down, won't take it anymore. The bad guy of the podcast world, that's me. Unleashing the truth, setting it all free.
Okay, I don't know why that graphic's not leaving. Oh well. Alright. Welcome back to 4th and 25. We just talked about the head coaching changes. And had to take a swig of the Zevia. Alright. Stuff's getting in the beard. Alright. So anyway, that's a wrap on the head coaching carousel. We're up to date on bowl game postseason recap. Let's talk about the transfer portal. This thing's exploding. It does not open until Friday, but it's pretty much open, you might as well say. So here is a list of names that, so far that I know of, that are entering this thing. And there's still more to come, obviously. So here's what we got. Alonzo Barnett, the quarterback at James Madison. He was the Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Year, led them to the playoff. He's in the portal. South Florida quarterback Byron Brown is in the portal. Rocco Beck, Iowa State's QB, has jumped in. You got Texas receiver DeAndre Moore. He's in the portal. Um, Quentin Wisner, Texas running back. He's not on this list, but I just seen he's in the portal. TCU quarterback Josh Hoover. Arizona State quarterback Sam Levitt. Missouri quarterback Bo Pribula. Did not expect that one. I was kind of shocked to learn that he was in the portal. And I see another one that's not on here. Hang on just a second. Colorado receiver Amarian Miller. He's in the portal. Michigan State quarterback Aiden Childs. You got Georgia Tech quarterback Aaron Philo, who did an admirable job filling in when Haynes King was injured. UNLV quarterback Anthony, Anthony Colandrea. He's in the portal. I see him on my notes here, but I did not put him on this list. I'm sorry. But heck, just 12 days ago, he said he wasn't getting in the portal, but now he is. So UNLV's quarterback is in the transfer portal. Brendan Sorsby, Cincinnati's quarterback, is in the portal. DJ Lagway, Florida's quarterback. Cam Cook, the really talented running back at Jacksonville State. I think he had 1,600 scrimmage yards. He's in the portal. And then you see in the middle here, North Texas is being gutted. After this great season, 12 wins, top 25, bowl win, their quarterback, Drew Mestemaker, has not officially announced it, but speculation is he's going. Linebacker Ethan Westowski, safety Quentin Hammonds, D linemen's Ethan Day, Joshua Pierce. Then the three-headed running back tandem of Caleb Hawkins, Ashton Gray, and Mackenzie McGill II are all in the portal for North Texas. That's crazy. James Madison, from what I understand, is going to have a lot of their offensive guys are getting in the portal. And Iowa State, of course, like I said, Rocco Beck's in the portal. They have other guys who are officially in it. I just don't have all the list of them. But this thing's exploding, guys. This is just a list of guys so far, kind of main names. But there's no telling how many players are going to be in this thing when it opens Friday. It opens Friday, January 2nd, and it goes through January 16th. You have that 2-week frame to announce that you're getting in the portal, but you don't have to announce where you're going just yet. But you have that 2-week period to get in the portal if you're going to do it. So that is an update on that. Okay, now on the brighter side, here's some guys who have announced they're coming back next year. Not quite as long of a list, but hey, it's better than nothing. SMU quarterback Kevin Jennings, he's coming back to the Mustangs. Ahmad Hardy, the Missouri running back, I will definitely keep an eye on this because after what happened in the Gator Bowl, I don't know. But he said he was coming back. Ole Miss linebacker Centurion Perkins is coming back. And there was also 3 or 4 other Rebels. I don't have the whole list of their names. I wish I did. But Ole Miss has got a few guys that have already said they're coming back. Duke quarterback Darren Mensah. South Carolina quarterback Lenore Sellers. I hope he has a much better year. I felt so bad for him, except when he played Ole Miss. But you can't. I'm just, And then Dylan Stewart, South Carolina edge rusher. He's coming back. Supposedly he's getting paid really good. Kudos to him. I hope South Carolina has a much better year because they deserve it. And then North Carolina quarterback Gio Lopez is coming back. Yeah. Good luck. Their offense was terrible. And then, of course, Miami running back Mark Fletcher Jr., he's coming back. So that's notable guys who are coming back. All right. So last thing is predictions. We got more bowl games coming up, and then, of course, the playoff quarterfinals. I'm trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. That should be it. Yeah, okay. All right, so I'm going to take one more break and have a quick drink of my Stevia. And then we come back. We got some predictions to do. See y'all in just a minute.
It's on time, you can get to work by 9 and start your slaving job to get your pay. If you ever get annoyed, look at me, I'm self-employed. I love to work at nothing all day, and we've been taking care of business every day. Taking care of business every way, we've been taking care of business. It's all mine. Taking care of business, and I've been working overtime. Work out.
Alright guys, welcome back to 4th and 25 with J-Ram. It's time to do our predictions. This has been a good show today. I appreciate those tuning in and liking it and loving it and checking us out. Gotta get one more thing up here real quick. Yeah, there we go. Alright, I think that's everything. Let me make sure real quick. Gonna brag about myself a little bit too. I'll show y'all in a minute. I don't normally brag about myself, but I got to just a little bit. I'm a very lucky guy. Alright. Hey, speaking of which, there's my wife. Hey, baby, I love you. Love you so much. Alright, so, I put a smile on my face. Alright, so here we go. Let's do some predictions, shall we? Before we get into the playoff quarterfinals, we'll knock these out pretty quick. Let's talk about the other bowl games. We got one coming up here in just a little bit. It kicks off in 41 minutes. We've got the Birmingham Bowl, Georgia Southern and Appalachia State. Oh, love you, sweetie. Thank you. All right, so we got the Birmingham Bowl coming up here at 1 o'clock. We got Georgia Southern and App State. Sunbelt East rivals playing in a bowl game. Ain't that screwed up? I don't know. It's a messy situation how this matchup came to be. But hey, kudos to App State for filling in. So at least it gives us something to watch. So I'm not going to gripe too bad. Georgia Southern is currently favored at 10. App State and Georgia Southern both are horrible on defense. They're in the hundreds in scoring defense, total defense, pass defense, rush defense. Georgia Southern is 133rd, it looks like. They give up 220 yards a game. App State gives up 139. You look on the offensive side, App State throws for 262 a game. Georgia Southern's about 401 total. They both score about 25 to 28 points a game. I'm going to go with Georgia Southern. I think they're a little more prepared, probably, because they knew they were going to be in this bowl a little bit before App State did. But I'll go with Georgia Southern. I think they're the better football team. So, as you see, I'm going to take Georgia Southern to win the Birmingham Bowl. All right, let's see. Tomorrow, we've got a triple header. We've got 3 bowl games tomorrow. We got the Independence Bowl at 1 o'clock in Shreveport. We got La Tech at Coastal Carolina. La Tech is a 10-point favorite. I'm going to go with La Tech to win that game. Coastal Carolina obviously going through a head coaching change. So solid players on La Tech, and their defense only allowing 21 points a game, only allowing 141 rushing. Coastal's offense is pretty rough. La Tech rushing the ball 196.5 yards per game. So I'll take Louisiana Tech in that game. And then at 4:30, we've got Tennessee and Illinois in the Music City Bowl. This could be a sneaky good game. Illinois usually gets up for bowl games. I don't know what Tennessee's going to do, but we'll see. Tennessee's averaging 40.8 points per game, 482 yards of offense, 307 passing, 174-ish rushing, and they're 50.3% third down conversion rate. And on fourth downs, Tennessee's really good, 73.3%. Illinois' defense allowing 23 points per game. Their offense, 29 points per game. Not a really good rushing team. Illinois is only averaging about 131 a game. So I'll go with Tennessee. I'm going to go with the favorite here. Give me Tennessee to win this football game. I think I'm not very confident in this one because Illinois tends to get up better for bowl games than most. But give me Illinois. All right, and then finally on Tuesday night, we got the Alamo Bowl. We've got USC and TCU. TCU quarterback Josh Hoover, we talked about this. He is in the transfer portal. USC has got depleted on offense. They've got their top 3 receivers out. I know they got some other guys out in the trenches who are not playing. However, the quarterback edge will go to USC because their quarterback is going to play in this game. I'm going to trust USC to win this football game. Not that I really care if they do, but they're the favorite and they have the quarterback edge. Give me USC to win the Alamo Bowl. All right, so let's go to New Year's Eve on Wednesday, the non-playoff bowls. We've got 4 of them, starting with the ReliaQuest Bowl at 11 a.m. on Wednesday morning, Iowa and Vanderbilt. This is a bowl matchup I have been super excited about since the matchups were announced. As far as I know, there's no opt-outs in this game, and I do think Diego Pavia is going to be hell-bent to make a statement in this game and finish his career on the right note. I'm going to take Vanderbilt to win this game because we know Iowa's offensive struggles. But I could be totally wrong. Iowa usually gets up for these bowl games. I think it's a close one, but I'm going to take Vanderbilt to win the game. Okay, Sun Bowl. We got Arizona State and we got Duke in El Paso. This is a 1 o'clock kickoff. I'm going to take the ACC champions, Duke. I still can't believe I'm saying that because they're 8-5. But Arizona State lost their QB to the portal. There was some drama about if Kenny Dillingham was going to stay, but he signed a new deal. He is staying. I just think Duke's going to be more prepared for this football game. Give me Duke to win the Sun Bowl. Check this one out. 2 o'clock. This is on ABC. How about this Citrus Bowl? We've got Michigan. We've got Texas. Battle of the Brands. Texas 7.5-point favorite. Michigan is obviously dealing with the Sharon Moore's fallout, but they do have Kyle Whittingham on the way. Biff Poggi is a wonderful interim head coach. Love that dude. I would run through a wall for him if I was a player. Give me Texas, though. Even though their leading rusher is hitting the portal, but I'll take Texas. I think they still got the talent edge here. All right, and final game, a final non-playoff game that day. The Las Vegas Bowl, we got Nebraska, we got Utah. Utah is a 2-touchdown favorite. Dang. I know Dylan Raoul is, of course, in the portal. Of course, Utah lost Kyle Whittingham. Don't really know what's going to happen in this game, to be honest with you. I'm going to take Utah to win, though. So, all right, so that's the New Year's Eve non-playoff bowls. Friday, January 2nd, let's do the non-playoff bowls, and then we'll get to the quarterfinals last. We got the First Responder Bowl. We've got Rice against Texas State. I'm going with Texas State. They're a 13-point favorite. I trust their offense a little more. Liberty Bowl, 3:30. I so wish I could go to this game just to see Navy in person. But Navy's playing Cincinnati up in Memphis, 3:30 kickoff. Navy's a touchdown favorite. Cincinnati's quarterback's in the portal. Navy's going to have the edge here. I'll take Navy. This Holiday Bowl, this is another game I'm excited about. We got Arizona and SMU. This is on Fox Friday night. I like Arizona, but I trust them a little bit more here. I don't know. I got a feeling Arizona's going to be really stoked to try to win this game. So give me Arizona with their offense over SMU. And then finally, 7 o'clock. This is ESPN. The final non-playoff bowl. It's Wake Forest and Mississippi State, the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Mississippi State, of course, 5-7, but they got in because some teams with winning records decided to be dweebs and not go to a bowl game. But anyway, I'm going to take Mississippi State to win this game because I trust their offense here. And you look at Wake Forest's defense, though, is not bad. They're allowing 21 points per game, 321 total yards. But look at Wake's offense. They're only averaging about 389 a game and 27 points. I think Mississippi State can beat them in a shootout. So give me Mississippi State. All right. Before we get to the quarters, I'm going to run through these one more time. Birmingham Bowl today, I like Georgia Southern. Tomorrow, I like La Tech and the Independence. I like Tennessee and the Music City and USC in the Alamo Bowl. And then on Wednesday, I like Vanderbilt in the ReliaQuest Bowl. I like Duke in the Sun Bowl. I like Texas in the Citrus, Utah in the Las Vegas Bowl. And then on Friday, I like Texas State in the First Responder Bowl. I like Navy in the Liberty Bowl, Arizona in the Holiday Bowl, and then Mississippi State in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. All right. I had to get me a couple of Frosted Flakes here. So, let's keep this going. And let's wrap this thing up on a good note. Let's pick these quarterfinals. Wednesday night. This is ESPN 6:30. We've got Miami, the 10 seed. We got Ohio State, the 2 seed. The Goodyear Cotton Bowl. I have actually, there's some that have been torn on this, and some shocked by this point spread. I understand. Miami is averaging 414.5 yards a game. Ohio State 429.5. Scoring wise, Ohio State's averaging about 35 points a game. Miami 32.2. You look at the running game, Ohio State 162.8 a game. Miami 151.9. Passing game pretty even, 266.8 for the Buckeyes, 262.5 for the Canes. Third downs, Ohio State one of the best in the country, 54.9% conversion rate. Fourth downs, both these teams were really good at fourth downs. Ohio State 64.7%, Miami 61.1%. And then both these teams really good in time of possession, both north of 33 minutes per game, time of possession wise. And then you look on the defense, Ohio State's defense is so good. 213.5 yards per game allowed. They're only allowing 8.2 points, 84.5 rushing yards per game, 129 passing yards. Miami's defense, no slouch either. 281.5 yards a game, 13 points, only allowing about 87 yards rushing a game, and then about 194.3. Yep. All right, so this is a good game. I'm very. I have thought about it. I think you're going to see a great matchup of athletes, talent-wise, between these two. Miami's got the more experienced quarterback. They're more experienced in the trenches, more experienced on the defense. So I think Miami's got a really good shot here. But I'm not betting against Ryan Day. I'm not betting against this defense. I think Ohio State is still a top 2 or 3 team. Miami's a good team, but I don't see it happening here. Give me Ohio State to win this football game. I like Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl over Miami. I think it's going to be a close game, but I like the Buckeyes. All right, moving on. The Capital One Orange Bowl, New Year's Day, 11 a.m. down in Miami. We've got the 5 seed Oregon and the 4 seed Texas Tech. Another game I am super excited to watch. We've got 2 offensive juggernauts here, and we've got 2 solid defenses. This is a pretty strong, even matchup. Oregon is a 2-point favorite. Texas Tech, the number 2 scoring offense in the country. They're averaging 42.5 points per game. They're passing for about 289.4, rushing for 190.9, 480.3 total. You look at Oregon's offense, 468.9 yards per game. They're scoring roughly 39 points a game, 39.2. Passing for 251.8 a game, rushing for 217.1 per game. You look at third downs, they're both really good. Texas Tech, 50.5% conversion rate. Oregon's at 48.4. Fourth downs, Texas Tech, 57.9. Oregon, 63.6. Then you look at the defense. Both defenses, solid defenses. Texas Tech, only allowing 68.5 rushing yards per game. They are a really good run defense. One of the best in the country. Oregon allowing 113. You look at the pass defense, Oregon a little better, 158.1 allowed. Texas Tech's pass defense, 185.9. Scoring defense, Oregon 16.3 points per game, Texas Tech 10.9. And then total defense, 254.4 allowed by the Red Raiders, 271.4 by the Ducks. Both keep the ball for about 30 minutes a game. So, with that said, who wins this game? Whew. We're going to see how really good Texas Tech can be against top-level competition. Obviously, say what you want about the Big 12. There's some good athletes there, but is there many good athletes as Oregon sees in the Big 10? But let's see how they do here. Texas Tech, this is going to be obviously their biggest test to date. This is going to be a great football game, but I like Oregon. Give me Oregon to win this football game. I think the Ducks advance to the semifinals in a close game, but I trust Oregon here. I think they're going to be just a little too much for Texas Tech. Give me Oregon to win this football game. All right, next up. Continuing on, we got the Rose Bowl, 4 o'clock. 3 o'clock, my time. ESPN. You got the 9 seed Alabama. You got the number 1 seed Indiana. This is going to be a fun football game. The weather could be a factor. It's my understanding there has been some rain out there and some flooding. So have they even got the field painted? But anyway, let's see if America's sweethearts, Indiana, can keep it going. Alabama comes in. You know the offense. Not a heavy rushing attack, just about 109 yards per game, passing for about 270. They're scoring 31 a game, 380 in offense. Indiana, as we all know, is an offensive juggernaut. They're averaging 472.8 yards per game, scoring roughly 41.9, passing for about 251.6. Really good rushing attack, 221.2 yards per game. Indiana, 55.8% on third down, one of the best in the country. Fourth down, Alabama really good, 64.7%. And then you flip over and you look at the defenses. Indiana's defense allowing 77.6 rushing yards per game, a top 5 rush defense. Indiana is exceptional against the run. 179.5 passing yards per game allowed. Scoring, they're allowing 10.8 points per game and 257.2 in total defense. You look at Alabama's defense, they're allowing 288.9, 17.9 points per game. They're allowing roughly 168 passing yards, and they're roughly allowing about 120 rushing yards a game. So here's the elephant in the room. Indiana is down maybe their best defensive lineman. He was injured at the Big Ten championship game. It's my assumption this was while celebrating, which is crazy, but it's a tough loss for Indiana when one of your best defensive players is out. Um, let's see how they handled the spotlight here. They handled it at the Big Ten championship well by beating Ohio State. Now let's see how they handle being the number 1 team in the country. And you've got a very hot, hungry team that's kind of woke up from the dead coming in here. The weather, I think, is going to play a factor. I've been torn on this game. As you can see, I'm still a little torn, and I might be subject to change it. But you know what? I think Indiana's special. I think this is a special team, and I think all of America and even people down here in the South are going to learn how really good this program is now under Kurt Cignetti. I think Indiana wins. I think it's a close game, but give me Indiana to win this football game and knock Alabama out, and that sends Indiana to the semifinals. I like Indiana over Alabama in a close game. I have no confidence. Hell, I might come back on here and change this pick Thursday morning. Who knows? But I'm going to take Indiana to win the football game. All right, final one, and you know which one this is, and I got to not be biased. New Year's night, 7 o'clock, the All-State Sugar Bowl. It is so weird seeing 2 SEC teams in the Sugar Bowl. I cannot get used to that. We've got 6-seed Ole Miss. We've got 3-seed Georgia. 7 o'clock ESPN kickoff from New Orleans. You've got Ole Miss coming in averaging 498 yards a game on offense, 37.5 points, 312 passing yards, rushing for roughly about 185.6 per game. Third downs, 45%, fourth down, 69%. And then you look at Georgia's offense, only about 406.9 per game, scoring 31.9, passing for about 220, rushing for about 186.6. Just like Ole Miss, 45% on third downs, 76.5% on fourth downs. Georgia, really good fourth down converting team. Sorry, I had to take a swig. I'll flip over to the defenses. Georgia, obviously a little better. 284.5 yards a game allowed. They're allowing 15.9 points, roughly about 205 passing. They're only allowing 79 rushing yards a game. Georgia stops the run really well. Ole Miss's defense allowing 339.8 yards per game. Let's see, 19.3 points, 192 passing yards, 147.8 rushing yards. Time of possession, Georgia keeps the ball roughly 34 minutes a game, Ole Miss 29-39. So they obviously played earlier this year. Ole Miss led the game for 3 quarters, and then in the fourth quarter, Georgia took control, and Ole Miss could not put them away. And Georgia won the game 43-35. And one time this game was a 9-point Ole Miss lead. Can Ole Miss finish the deal? Can Ole Miss run the ball better? They're going to have to run the ball better. They've got to put them away and finish this game. Ole Miss has got to score. Trinidad has got to have a complete 4-quarter game. He doesn't have to worry about going to Athens. Will there be more Ole Miss fans at this game? Possibly. I don't know. But still so weird seeing 2 SEC teams here. Anyway, but I think this is going to be a really good competitive football game. Y'all know who my heart is with. Obviously, it's my school with Ole Miss. But oof, this is going to be a really close football game. Oh, I'm struggling with this one. I'm struggling. It's hard to go against Kirby Smart in these situations. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm picking Georgia. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm picking Georgia. So, with that said, that sets up the semifinals. According to my prediction, I've got Oregon against Indiana, and I've got Georgia against Ohio State. That's what I've got for the Final Four. Um, like I say, is it subject to change? Of course. But I also can't be, I don't want to be biased on here. I want to be as respected as I can be. So anyway, I like Georgia to win this football game. So one more time, I'm going to give you the predictions for all these games. Here they are for you if you want to look at them. Birmingham Bowl, Georgia Southern, Independence La Tech, Tennessee for the Music City. I like USC in the Alamo. I like Vanderbilt, the Rely Quest, Duke in the Sun, Texas Citrus, Utah in Vegas, Texas State in the Armed Forces Bowl. I just realized something, guys. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Texas State is in the Armed Forces Bowl, not First Responder. Dang it. Liberty Bowl, I like Navy, Arizona in the Holiday, and Mississippi State the Mayo. And then the quarterfinals, as you see, I like Ohio State, Georgia, Indiana, and Georgia. Ohio State, Oregon, Indiana, and Georgia to move on. Almost going to be hot and standing on business. I hope you're right, baby. I hope you're right. You know what? You know what? I don't have money involved in this because I'm not a bettor. You know what, guys? Ignore this picture. I'm changing it right now. Ole Miss beats Georgia. You heard it right here. I'm taking Ole Miss. Give me Ole Miss to beat Georgia. I'm changing my pick right now. Ole Miss and Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon. That's what I'm going with. I'm changing it right now. That's my predictions. All right, guys. So that's a wrap on this week's show. This show actually did not go as long as I thought it might, but because we've been gone for so long. But we recapped everything I wanted to recap. Before I go, I gotta brag. This past weekend, I was on my not this past weekend, but the weekend before. I was on my honeymoon. As y'all know, I was recently married. There's my lovely bride, Miss Amy. This was us on our honeymoon. We were at the Dollywood Stampede in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. Pigeon Forge, I'm sorry, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. We had a wonderful time. I was able to keep up with the playoff first round and everything on my phone and watch some of it at the cabin. And here's one more picture of us. This was at the Titanic Museum. But we had a wonderful time. And the good Lord above blessed me with an angel and this girl. And I am so glad that we are. I was waiting for a comment. But I'm so blessed beyond words and very happy. I have found the love of my life, and she has treated me so good, way better than I'll ever deserve. But thank God for her, and I thank God for her every day because I don't know where I would be without her. Alright, guys, so before we get out of here, I am going to do my traditional Bible verse to close our show out. Just something to think about. So today's verse, 1 Kings 8:61, let your heart therefore be perfect with the Lord our God, to walk in his statutes and to keep his commandments as at this day. Yes, sir. All right, so next show. I know I'm terrible at doing this because things change so much, but we're going to shoot for Saturday. Yeah, Saturday, January 3rd. There won't be all the bowl games will be played. The CFP semifinals will be set. And yeah, that's what we're shooting for. Saturday, January 3rd, sometime that afternoon before the NFL games kick off. So that's when we're going to do our next show. Yeah, Saturday, January 3rd is our target. If something changes, I will post it on my socials. Guys, appreciate y'all so much. Thank y'all for checking out my show. Hope y'all have a wonderful day. Hope you had a great holidays with your family, great Christmas. Hope everyone, and next time I see you, it'll be 2026. So wish you all a happy new year. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Until next time, God bless.